Hey, what's going on, family? It's your man Abrew Yashar'el from Dry Bones Media Studios. Man, I woke up this morning to a couple emails and phone calls and all kind of alerts that let me know that Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by the feds. They say he turned himself in, and we're gonna see what come out of it. Let me say this: we are all supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, no matter what we have seen with the Cassie videos, even though that was horrendous. That was very horrendous. And I don't condone that at all. Let me say that. But we got a whole lot of judgment, you know what I mean? Well, some of us. When it comes to putting your hands on a woman, April don't like that too much. So, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to be cordial, but you deserve everything that come with what you get. You know what I mean? No sin goes unpunished. Let me say that. Now, they said the Fed, he turned himself in. They said the Fed has a 95% conviction rate. We don't know what the indictment say. He was indicted. Um, a lot of news outlet putting this in has something to do with sex trafficking and racketeering. And who knows? I don't know. Everything is alleged, and this is fair use. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the video from Fox, let you know what they said, and go from there.
Alert: Sean Diddy Combs now in federal custody, expected to be arraigned on federal charges today after being arrested last night in a Manhattan hotel. Those charges have not been revealed yet, but the U.S. attorney is expected to unseal that indictment this morning. Former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkasky joins me now. Katie, Diddy's attorney tells the New York Times he believes the music mogul is being charged with racketeering and sex trafficking. Besides that, what other charges do you expect, Katie?
Well, I agree. I think that those are the most anticipated charges based upon what we do know. Now, obviously, we don't know the extent of the investigation. We don't know what other witnesses they have interviewed and what other evidence they've collected. So a lot will be revealed when this indictment.
And I'm going to say this. So many people keep coming out saying he did this and he did that. He groped them. He had drug feud parties. He had sex trafficking, physical abuse. I'm a big believer people is not going to continue to say stuff about you if it's not true. I've heard stories from the circle I ran in, not no more, but never met Diddy in my life. But I have heard some wild stories. And but people continue to say stuff about this man, that he's doing this and doing that, but nobody want to challenge him or go after him. But so I guess the feds have got some concrete evidence, and they're actually going after him now. But let's continue to see what Fox said. But yeah, people ain't gonna continue to say that you this and that, and you know, it got to be some truth to what he was doing.
Sealed, but primarily it seems like the racketeering charges, which are quite significant, and the sex trafficking are going to be primary.
Okay, and if he is ultimately convicted, again, I'm putting the cart before the horse here, a lot of steps before then, but if he is convicted, will Diddy spend the rest of his life behind bars?
Well, there's certainly a possibility of that. The RICO charges alone carry very hefty penalties, usually at least 20 years per count. It could even increase depending on the other acts that are charged as part of the racketeering charge itself. So certainly he would face significant jail time if convicted, of course.
And another thing I'm going to say. They said Diddy turned himself in. Oh, and by the way, big up to my Falcons last night against the Eagles. You know what I mean? Kirk Cousins, he scared me a little bit, but he did it. But another thing I'm going to say, Diddy turned himself in, they said. He could have fled to one of the non-extradition countries like Bali and like where Russell at, or Russell's supposed to be, allegedly. I think that for him not to flee to those countries, I'm not saying he's innocent. It probably somebody was like, "Hey man, you flee, we gonna probably terminate you or terminate his family or something," because he got all the resources to flee. You know what I mean? And but he turned himself in, so it's something. They either got some hefty concrete evidence on him, or it's something else behind the scenes. But I do want to say this: Cat Williams was right. At the beginning of the year in January, when Cat did that Club Shay Shay interview, he said this year people will be exposed. Man, we just seen TD Jakes, we seen Diddy, we seen all kind of people stuff coming out on people this year. So this year right here alone, it's a rough year. 2024 is bringing down a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of celebrities, man. Banks is going under, politicians are being exposed. It's a lot of stuff going on in 2024. But let's let Fox see what they finish in with this here.
In March. We are now 6 months later. I would argue that these indictments have to be pretty buttoned up. They have to be pretty confident in their case to go through with this arrest. What say you, Katie?
Well, the federal prosecutors, the DOJ, has about a 95% conviction rate. That's not to say that it's a guarantee that anyone will be convicted. Everyone's presumed innocent, but certainly they have put a lot of resources into this. It's been multiple agencies. The Department of Homeland Security has also been involved in this, which suggests that there's some sort of overseas element to some of these charges. So certainly, I think they have their ducks in a row. They need at least probable cause to move forward with the indictment. Now, that's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, as we all know, but it certainly suggests that they have gone through and ensured that they have at least evidence to proceed with this indictment.
I'm glad you mentioned that overseas element, because the crime of sex trafficking presumably involves some other bad actor at the other end of the transaction, if you will. Are you expecting the Diddy indictment to literally be the tip of the iceberg in a much broader sex trafficking racketeering scheme?
I think there's a possibility of that. It's not necessarily required, because certainly Diddy himself could have arranged to have people come in for sexual purposes. And the same with the RICO statute. You don't have to have other individuals that are involved in order to be charged with a RICO crime. So it seems to me that there's a possibility other indictments could certainly come out of this as well, but it's not required based upon what we believe the charges to be.
What stands out to me, Katie, is after all these years, these witnesses, these victims finally coming forward against Diddy, that tells me that they have confidence that there won't be any retaliation against them. Means they have confidence that the system is going to put Diddy behind bars. Katie Cherkasky, appreciate your time again. Like I said, a lot of steps before then. We'll be.
Man, Diddy seemed like he's in trouble, man. Let me say that. He seemed like he's in trouble. But what get me was when Cassie got the nerve, the strength, I should say, to come out and say, hey, this man is beating on me. This man is doing this to me. This man has raped me. And she came out, man. She was tired, and she filed a lawsuit. And she won an undisclosed amount of money. But with her bravery, that opens up the door to other people saying, hey, he did this, he did this. I done heard Carl Winslow come. Well, I know the man that name ain't Carl Winslow, but now this guy from the Minnesota prison just won a $100 million lawsuit against Diddy. All the a lot of male escorts is coming out, man. It's so much stuff is coming out about this man. So you got to be like, man, was this the boogeyman himself to go out and just do the stuff that he did? And now his son is being charged or investigated for some type of sexual misconduct. Sometimes you can act like you bigger than life and above the law, but everybody or everything, no sin goes unpunished. Let me say that. I believe that you eventually you're gonna fall, no matter how high you get. If you out here doing dirt, it gonna come back on you. It got to. It's the law of attraction. And you can see that, and I heard this man been linked to murders and all that, but all this is alleged. I don't know. But man, what we did see that video of him putting his hands on Cassie. unless that was a heck of an AI job, he put his hands on that woman. And he kicked her and threw her down and all kind of stuff. And that was horrible. And they could say he was drunk, and they could say he went to rehab and all this stuff. But let me tell you, bro, no real father or brother will sit back and watch their daughter or sister get done the way he got done. I say real father or real brother. The reason be because I am a father. And you touch my daughter or my wife, I pretty much don't care about the consequences. Especially in that manner of where that woman was done. And when she was on the ground, she got kicked twice by that man. So if he was brazen enough to do that in a hotel by the elevators where we all know there's cameras in these hotel rooms, and not hotel rooms, but hotel hallways and elevators. If he was brazen enough to do that, what did he do behind closed doors to that woman? I can only imagine the fear and the terror that she had. And what I do fault is that the people who covered this up in that hotel and gave him the tape or let him pay for the tape or whatever, you just as much as fault also. You should have called the police. I don't care who you are. When you do stuff like that to people, the police should be calling. He might have had enough money to get off from the local police. But for him to put his hands on her, man, and then she said that he came to the house and in one part of her lawsuit say he physically raped her. It's all alleged, but it's in the lawsuit. I have spoken to women, man, and they say that's one of the roughest times in their life, and they still battle with that today, the ones who have been raped. And my head goes off and my heart goes out to any woman that has been raped, man. I think if a man rape you, he should be castrated and put on a ship, a boat, and set afire and pushed in the middle of the ocean with no motor. I'm just being honest with you. You're low, you're a scum, you're POS to me. And with that said, man, I'm Abrew Yashar'el, and I'm out. Have a good one. Until next time. Shalom.